Alright, so let's go over number one, letter A. What are the coordinates for points A, B, and C? So we've got coordinates for point A. If I start here at the origin, I go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I believe. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Positive 5, positive 6. And then for coordinate point B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2. 5 and 2. And then for point, this is all answering question A. Point C is 1, 2, 1, 2. 2, 2. And I have really good handwriting, as you can tell. Alright, so now it's asking where are the coordinates for points A prime, B prime, C prime after translating the figure 3 units to the left and 4 units up. So I would take this, I'm going to do a different color here, point, and I would go, let's see, how many do they want me to go? 3 units to the left. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4 units up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'd put a little point there and I'd label that A prime. And I would find the coordinates for that. And the coordinates for that point is 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got 2 and then 10. And before I graph the rest of this, because it's not really even asking me to graph it, it's just asking for what the coordinates are, because you probably learned in class, or hopefully you did. If not, I'm going to show you right now. But there is a way that you can translate the coordinates without even having to graph it. And if we're moving either left or right, it's going to affect my x value. All right. If I'm going to move to left, it's going to make that x value get smaller. Okay. So that's like subtracting 3. If I was to move to the right, well, then it would make that x value get larger. It'd be like adding 3. Okay. But in this case, it says 3 units to the left. So that means I'm going to subtract 3. And you see 5 minus 3 gives me 2. So that kind of explains where that 2 came from, even if I didn't graph it. So I could find out, so let me change the color again. If I take 5 and I subtract the 3, because I got to move it to the left 3 units, this value is also going to be 2. And then if I take 2 and I subtract 3, because I'm moving it to the left, that value is actually going to be negative 1, because if you are using your fingers, you have 2, and then you take 1 away, that gives you 1, and you take another one away, it gives you 0, and then you take another away, it brings you to negative 1. And then if I look at the next part, it says, and move it 4 units up. Well, that's going to affect my y value. You can see here's my y value right here. So because I'm moving up, that's like adding 4. So 6 plus 4, you see that led me to my 10. So it's just kind of a quick way you can do it this way by manipulating the x value and the y value based on how you move it. And it is kind of saves you some time, so you don't actually have to graph it. So I'm going to add 4 to my y values. 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. So you can see I've answered all of part B without even graphing it. Now you could graph it if you want to, but remember on the CRCT you're not really going to have graph paper, so you can't really graph it. So this kind of little trick helps out a lot. Let's look at C. It says describe the effect of the coordinates, and really what I just did right here is showing how this movement, this translation affects the coordinates. So if I was going to describe this, and I will type in just, your answer doesn't have to be like this word for word, but I'll type something in just so that you can get an idea of what your answer should look like. I would say the x value decreased by 3 because the figure was translated 3 units left. The y value increased by 10 because the figure was translated 10. I'm sorry, it shouldn't be 10, it should be 4. Let me fix that. 4 was translated 4 units up. All right. And so now let's look at D. What is your motion rule for this transformation? So if I was going to write a motion rule for this particular transformation, it would look something like this. And I'm not real strict on how you write it. There is a formal way to write it where it looks like X and Y, and then you have an arrow, and then it says, in this case it would be X. Whatever X is, you would subtract 3, because you remember that's what we did here. I subtracted 3 from X here, I subtracted 3 from X, subtracted 3X. So I was always subtracting 3 from X, and then for the Y value, I was always adding 4. You see, and I'll pick a different color. I'm adding 4 here, I'm adding 4 there, and I'm adding 4 there. Okay, so here we go. This is the answer for all of number 1.